The Earth fleet moved through space away from their home planet. 100 ships built in just 6 months carried the hopes of all humans. Joe Clark stood by a window on the ship Revenge and watched Earth grow smaller behind them. "First, jump in 5 minutes," the captain said over the speakers. "Everyone get ready." Joe went to his seat and strapped in. He worked in the engine room, making sure the jump drive stayed working. It was new technology copied from the aliens with help from Zen and his people. "Nervous?" asked Kim, a woman from Korea who worked with Joe. She was one of the few women left on Earth, a pilot who had been flying high in the mountains when the aliens came. "Yes," Joe said. "Not about the jump, about what we'll find." Kim nodded. "We all are. But we will win. We must win." The captain's voice came again. "Jump in 3, 2, 1. Joe felt a strange pull in his stomach. The stars outside the window stretched into lines, then vanished. For a second, everything was black. Then new stars appeared. They had jumped across space, farther than any human had gone before. The jump worked perfectly. The fleet had moved as one. The Earth ships now floated in a part of space far from home, following the trail the Zorgans had left. "Engine room report," the captain called. "All systems good," Joe replied through his headset. "The jump drive is cooling down. We can jump again in 2 hours." The Earth fleet would need to make 5 jumps to reach Zorgon space. Each jump took them closer to the enemy that had taken their loved ones. On the Zorgon mothership, Mary Clark and the other women had made progress. Through small messages scratched into the pods and whispers during testing times, they had built a network. Each woman knew which pod she was in. They had a map of most of the ship in their minds. Mary had learned more of the Zorgon language. She could understand most of what they said now. Today she heard something that made her heart beat faster. "The mind link weapons are almost ready," one Zorgon scientist said to another. "We will start using the females' brains tomorrow. The process will drain them, but we should get enough power before they die." Mary had to warn the others. When the Zorgans put her back in her pod, she fought the sleep drug they gave her. She waited until the room was empty, then hit the inside of her pod hard 3 times. It was a signal they had agreed on for important news. In other pods, women heard and passed the signal along. Soon all the captured women knew something bad was coming. Lisa Baker was in pod 387. She was a police officer from Chicago. She had been working on a way to open the pods from inside. She had found a small crack in the seal of her pod. Each time they took her out, she made it a little bigger. Today she might be able to get out. When the lights dimmed for the night cycle, Lisa pushed hard against the crack. The pod door moved a little. She pushed again. The door opened enough for her to squeeze through. Lisa stepped quietly into the dark room. Hundreds of pods glowed softly around her. She moved to pod 542 where she knew Mary was kept. "Mary," she whispered, tapping the pod. "It's Lisa." Mary's eyes opened. She looked surprised to see Lisa outside the pod. "They're going to start killing us tomorrow," Mary whispered. "They want to use our brains for weapons." Lisa nodded. "I'm going to get you out. Then we'll free as many as we can." In space, the Earth fleet made its 4th jump. One more and they would reach Zorgon space, but something was wrong. When the ships came out of the jump, they were not alone. "Zorgon patrol ships," the captain shouted. "Battle stations." Joe ran to his post in the engine room. The ship shook as the Zorgons fired at them. "We need more power to the shields," someone called through the radio. Joe worked the controls, sending power from the jump drive to the shields. The ship shook again, but less this time. The Earth ships fought back. They fired weapons based on Zorgon designs but improved by human engineers. 5 Zorgon patrol ships exploded. "They didn't expect us to have such good weapons," the captain said. "They're running away." But the Earth ships had been damaged. 3 were destroyed. 7 more needed repairs. "How long until we can jump again?" the captain asked Joe. "The drive is damaged," Joe replied. 3 hours for basic repairs, but it won't be at full power." The captain made a hard choice. "We can't wait. The Zorgons will bring more ships. We jump in 3 hours with what we have." On the mothership, Lisa had freed Mary and 20 more women. They moved silently through the dark halls, using the map they had created in their minds. They needed to reach the control room. "If we can send a message to Earth, we can tell them where we are," Mary said. "And maybe disable some weapons," Lisa added. They found a small room with computers. Mary tried to use what she had learned of the Zorgon language to work the controls. "I think I can access their communication system," she said, "but I don't know Earth's location to send a message." Lisa looked at the screen. "Try sending it everywhere, make it a broadcast." Mary did something to the controls. A light blinked. "I think it worked. Now let's try to find weapons controls." Before they could do more, an alarm sounded. The Zorgons had discovered the empty pods. "We need to hide," Lisa said. They ran into the halls looking for a place to hide. They found a small storage room and squeezed inside. Through a crack in the door, they saw Zorgon guards running past. "What do we do now?" Mary asked. "We keep trying," Lisa said. "We've started something. Even if they catch us, the others know. It's possible to escape. They'll keep trying." In the Earth fleet, Joe finished the jump drive repairs. The ships prepared for their final jump. New message coming in. The communication officer called. It's from the mothership. From our people." Everyone stopped what they were doing. The message was weak and broken, but they could understand parts of it. "This is Earth women. Mothership, Sector 7. Weapons using our brains. Help soon." Joe's heart jumped. "That could be Mary. She's alive." The captain called all ship leaders together. "This changes our plan. We now know they're alive but in danger. We jump now, directly to the mothership's location." The damaged fleet prepared for one last jump. It would take all the power they had. Some ships might not make it. "If we wait, we may be too late," the captain said. "We go now." Joe went back to the engine room. He pushed the jump drive beyond what was safe. The ship shook and strange noises came from the engines. "Jump in 3, 2, 1. The ship stretched and vanished into black space. Joe held his breath. If they survived this jump, they would face the entire Zorgon fleet. The final battle was about to begin. The night was quiet in the small town of Riverdale. Most people were asleep, but Mary Clark sat on her back porch looking at the stars. She liked to watch the sky at night when everything was peaceful. Her husband Joe was inside the house watching TV. Mary noticed something strange about the stars. Some of them were moving. At first she thought they were shooting stars, but they moved in a pattern. They formed a big circle in the sky. The circle got brighter and bigger. "Joe, come look at this," Mary called to her husband. Joe came outside, wiping sleep from his eyes. "What is it?" "Look up there. The stars are moving." Mary pointed at the sky. Joe looked up and his eyes got wide. The circle of lights was now very bright and it was getting closer to Earth. They could see it was not stars but a huge round ship. "We need to go inside," Joe said, grabbing Mary's arm. Before they could move, a bright blue light shot down from the ship. The light covered Mary. Joe tried to hold on to her, but his hand passed right through the light. Mary started to float, up toward the ship. "Joe!" she screamed, reaching for him. Joe jumped and tried to grab her feet, but he couldn't reach. He watched as his wife went higher and higher until she disappeared into the ship. The same thing was happening all over town. Susan White vanished from her bedroom. Linda Johnson disappeared while walking her dog. Carol Smith was taken from her car. All across America, women were being taken by the blue lights. In New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and every city and town, thousands of women floated up into the sky and never came back down. The alien ships had come to many places on Earth at the same time. They only took women. They left the men alone. Joe ran inside and called the police. The phone lines were busy. He tried to call again and again. Finally, someone answered. "Hello? Police? My wife just got taken by a UFO." Joe shouted. "Sir, please." "Stay calm. We are getting many calls like yours. Stay in your home. The army is coming," the voice on the phone said. Joe turned on the TV. Every channel showed the same news. Women all over the world were being taken by alien ships. The president would speak soon. In space, far above Earth, Admiral Kree stood on the bridge of the mothership. He was the leader of the Zorgon Empire, the strongest alien force in the galaxy. The Zorgons had ruled many worlds for thousands of years. No one could fight them and win. "Report," Admiral Kree said to his officer. "We have taken 250,000 Earth females, sir. The collection is going well. The humans have no way to stop us," the officer said. Admiral Kree nodded. "Good. Their women have special brains that we need for our research. With their brain power, we can make our ships and weapons even stronger." "What about the men?" the officer asked. "The men are no threat. They are weak. They will cry for a while and then forget. That is what all species do when we take their females," Admiral Kree said. But the Zorgons had never met humans before. They did not understand that humans were different from other aliens they had beaten. On Earth, the president sat in a secret room under the White House. His wife had been taken too. His face was red with anger as his advisors told him what was happening. "How many women have been taken?" he asked. "About 1 million worldwide, sir. They seem to be targeting women between 18 and 40 years old," General Frank said. "Do we know who they are or what they want?" the president asked. "No, sir. They have not tried to talk to us," General Frank said. The president stood up. "They will regret this. Get me all the world leaders on the phone. Tell them we are at war with these aliens. We will get our women back." In his house, Joe sat with his neighbor Bill. Bill's wife was taken too. They watched the president on TV. "My fellow Americans," the president said, "today we face the greatest threat in human history. Alien ships have taken our mothers, daughters, wives, and sisters. We do not know why, but we know this. We will get them back. The United States is now at war with these invaders. We are working with all nations on Earth. Today we are not Americans, Russians, Chinese, or Europeans. We are humans and we will fight together." Joe looked at Bill. "We need to do something. We can't just sit here." Bill nodded. "The Army will need help. They'll need everyone." All over America, men were having the same thought. They would not cry and forget as the aliens expected. They would fight. In small towns, big cities, and every place in between, men gathered. They made plans. They joined the army in huge numbers. Scientists worked day and night to understand the alien technology from the few pieces they found. What the Zorgons didn't know was that humans never give up on the people they love. Taking the women didn't weaken humans. It made them more determined than ever. On the mothership, Mary and the other women were kept in sleep pods. The aliens only woke them up to study their brains. The Zorgons thought the women were scared and helpless. They were wrong. When Mary was awake, she watched the aliens. She learned things about the ship. The other women did the same. They passed notes and whispered when the guards weren't looking. They were making their own plans. Admiral Kree looked at Earth on his view screen. The planet looked peaceful. He did not see the armies forming. He did not see the weapons being built. He did not know that every man on Earth had only one goal now: to get their women back and make the aliens pay. "The humans are so primitive," Admiral Kree said. "They have no spaceships. They have no powerful weapons. They cannot touch us." His officer agreed. "Yes, Admiral, they will accept what we have done. All other species did. They were both very wrong. The Zorgon Empire was about to learn a hard lesson about humans. When you take someone a human loves, you better be ready for war. And not just any war. The humans were planning all-out war, the kind that would make even the mighty Zorgon Empire wish they had never heard of Earth. The Earth fleet appeared near the Zorgon mothership. The jump was rough. 15 Earth ships were damaged so badly they could not fight. But 75 ships were ready for battle. Joe looked at the screens in the engine room. The jump drive was burned out. They would not be able to jump back to Earth. They had to win this fight. "All ships attack pattern Alpha," the captain ordered. "Focus on the mothership's engines first." The Zorgons were surprised. They did not expect humans to reach their space so soon. Their ships moved slowly at first, giving Earth ships time to fire first. Earth ships shot powerful beams at the mother ship. The beams cut through the Zorgon shields like they were paper. "How is that possible?" a Zorgon officer asked Admiral Kree. They have learned our technology, Admiral Kree said. His voice shook with anger. Order all ships to protect the mothership. 200 Zorgon ships moved to block the Earth fleet. The battle began in full. Inside the mothership, Mary, Lisa, and the other escaped women heard the alarms. The ship shook as it was hit by Earth weapons. That must be our people, Mary said. They've come. We need to help them, Lisa said. Let's try to free more women. They ran back toward the pod room. Zorgon guards were everywhere, but they were busy with the attack. The women managed to avoid most of them. In the pod room, they started opening more pods. Soon, 50 women were free. Then 100. We need weapons, said Kelly, a soldier from Australia who had just been freed. The guards have weapons, Lisa said. If we can trap some alone, we can take them. Kelly nodded. I'll lead that team. Mary, you free more women. The freed women split into groups. Kelly took 10 women to hunt for guards. Mary led others to free more women. Lisa took another group to try to reach the control room again. Outside in space, the battle was fierce. Earth ships moved faster than Zorgon ships. They dodged Zorgon shots and fired back with perfect aim. But there were more Zorgon ships, and they were bigger. We've lost 20 ships, someone reported on the Revenge. But we've destroyed 50 of theirs, the captain said. Keep pushing toward the mothership. In the engine room, Joe worked to get more power to the weapons. The ship shook as it was hit again and again. We need more from the engines. The weapons officer called. I'm giving it all I can, Joe replied. Then he had an idea. Wait, what if we use the jump drive fuel for the main weapons? That's not safe, his teammate said. It could blow up the ship. We can't jump anyway, Joe said. And we need more power. He made the changes. The weapons officer called back. Whatever you did, it worked. Our beams are twice as strong now. The Revenge cut through 3 Zorgon ships in a row. Other Earth ships saw what happened and copied what Joe had done. Soon the whole Earth fleet had stronger weapons. On the mother ship, Lisa's group reached the control room. 6 Zorgon officers were inside. Before Lisa could decide what to do, Kelly's group arrived with stolen weapons. Get down, Kelly shouted to Lisa. Then she fired at the Zorgons. The fight was short. The Zorgons fell, and the women took control of the room. Can you work these controls? Kelly asked Mary, who had joined them. Mary sat at the main computer. I think so. I've learned a lot of their language. She worked quickly. On the screens, they saw the battle outside. Our ships are winning, but they're taking damage, Lisa said. Can we help them? Mary found the weapon controls. I can shut down the mothership's weapons. She pressed some buttons. The big guns on the outside of the ship stopped firing. That will help, Kelly said. What about the shields? Working on it, Mary said. She found more controls. The mothership's shields started to drop. In his command room, Admiral Kree saw what was happening. The weapons are down. The shields are dropping. How? An officer checked the computer. Someone is in the control room. The human females have escaped. Admiral Kree was filled with rage. Send all guards to the control room and prepare my escape ship. The Admiral was not brave. He would run while his soldiers fought. In space, the Earth fleet saw the motherships. Shields drop. This is our chance, the captain of the Revenge said. All ships, target the mothership's command center. Earth ships fired at one spot on the mothership. The Zorgon ships tried to block the shots, but many got through. Inside the control room, Mary saw a new alert on the screen. They're sending guards here. Lots of them. How many women have been freed? Lisa asked. Mary checked another screen. About 600. There are still thousands in pods. We need to free them all, Lisa said. But the guards will be here any minute. Kelly looked at the weapons in her hands. We'll hold them off as long as we can. Mary, can you open all the pods from here? Mary looked at the controls. Yes, I think so, but what will happen to the women? They're still half asleep. Better half asleep and free than trapped when the shooting starts, Kelly said. Mary pressed the buttons. All across the mothership, pods opened. Women woke up confused, but many understood what was happening. We need to go, someone said. I saw Admiral Kree heading for an escape ship. We can't let him get away. You're right, Mary said. Lisa, can you stay here and keep the shields down? Lisa nodded. I'll try. Mary and Kelly led a group toward the escape ship area. They had to fight their way past guards. Kelly was good with the stolen weapons and taught others how to use them quickly. In the engine room of the Revenge, Joe felt the ship shake harder than before. We're hit bad, his teammate said. Hull breach on level 3. Can we still fight? Joe asked. Yes, but not for long. The captain's voice came over the speakers. All hands, prepare to board the mothership. We're going to ram it and cut our way in. Joe grabbed an emergency spacesuit from the wall. Everyone in the engine room did the same. If the ship was breached, they would need the suits to breathe. Revenge turned and headed straight for the mothership. Other Earth ships did the same. The Zorgons fired at them but couldn't stop them all. Brace for impact, the captain shouted. Joe held onto a metal bar as the ship crashed into the mother ship. The sound was like thunder. Metal screamed as the ships crushed together. When the shaking stopped, Joe put on his helmet. The air was leaking out. In his suit, he grabbed a cutting tool and headed toward the point of impact. Earth soldiers were cutting a hole into the mother ship. Joe joined them. When the hole was big enough, they went through. They were in. The final fight for the mothership had begun. 3 days passed since the aliens took the women. Joe Clark could not sleep. He could not eat. He could only think about Mary and where she might be. The TV showed the same news over and over. Women were gone from all parts of the world. No country was spared. Joe sat in his living room with 5 other men from his street. They all had lost someone. Bill lost his wife. Steve lost his daughter. Paul lost his sister. They were angry and sad, but most of all, they wanted to do something. The Army is taking volunteers, Steve said. I signed up this morning. What good will that do? Paul asked. The aliens are in space. We can't reach them. The president says NASA is working on something, Bill said. They found pieces of the alien ships that fell to Earth. They are studying them. Joe stood up. I'm going to sign up too. If they need men, I want to help. The next day, Joe and Steve went to the Army office in town. The line was very long. Hundreds of men waited to sign up. Young men, old men, all kinds of men stood together with the same look in their eyes. When Joe's turn came, the Army officer looked tired. He had been signing people up all day. Name? The officer asked. Joe Clark, Joe said. Any special skills? I'm a builder. I know how to make things, Joe said. The officer nodded and wrote it down. We need builders. Report to the base outside town tomorrow at 6 a.m. At the White House, the president met with the best scientists in the country. Dr. Helen Rivera was one of the few women scientists who had not been taken. She had been deep underwater in a submarine when the aliens came. What have you learned from the alien technology? The president asked. Dr. Rivera showed him a small piece of metal. This is part of one of their ships. It's made of elements we don't have on Earth, but we can copy how it works. How long until we can build our own ships? The president asked. Normally years or decades, Dr. Rivera said, but with every scientist on Earth working together, maybe 6 months. We don't have 6 months, the president said. Those women could be dead by then. Actually, sir, we don't think they are dead, Dr. Rivera said. The aliens took them alive for a reason. They want something from them. In space, on the Zorgon mothership, Mary Clark woke up in her sleep pod. The aliens only woke the women for tests. Mary felt wires attached to her head. A Zorgon scientist stood nearby, watching screens that showed her brain activity. Mary had learned that if she kept very still and breathed slowly, the aliens thought she was still half asleep. This let her watch and listen longer. 2 Zorgon officers walked into the room. They didn't know Mary could understand some of their language. She had a good ear for languages and had been learning from listening. The human females have unusual brain patterns, one officer said. Their minds can connect in ways ours cannot. Is it enough for the weapons project? The other asked. Yes. Once we map all their brains, we can build the new mind-link weapons. Our ships will be 10 times more powerful. Mary listened carefully. The aliens were using human women's brains to make better weapons. She needed to tell the others. When the aliens put her back to sleep, she fought to stay awake just long enough to see which pod they put her in. Pod number 542. The next time, they woke her. She looked for a way to leave a message for the woman who would use the pod after her. She saw a small piece of metal on the floor. When the aliens weren't looking, she picked it up and scratched 542 on the inside of the pod where the aliens wouldn't see it. Each woman who came after her would add her pod number. Slowly, they were making a map of where everyone was kept. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Back on Earth, Joe reported to the military base as ordered. Thousands of men were there, lined up in rows. A general stood on a platform to address them. "You are now part of the Earth Defense Force," the general said. "This is not just America's fight. Every country on Earth is working together. The Russians, Chinese, British, and all others have joined us." Joe looked around. The men with him were not all American. He saw men from many countries in his group. "We have 6 main projects," the general continued. "Building ships, making weapons, training fighters, creating shields, finding the aliens, and planning the attack. Each of you will be assigned based on your skills." Joe was sent to the shipbuilding team. His experience as a builder made him valuable there. The base had huge underground areas where they were making parts for spaceships. What Joe saw amazed him. The work was far ahead of what he expected. Scientists had already figured out how the alien ships moved through space. They called it jump drive. It let ships travel great distances in seconds. "How did they learn this so fast?" Joe asked his team leader. "We've had help," the leader said. "Not all aliens are like the Zorgons. Some have been watching Earth for years. When they saw what happened, a few came to help us." The leader pointed to a tall, thin being working with some engineers. The alien had pale blue skin and 4 arms. "That's Zen. His people hate the Zorgons too. They've been fighting them for 100 years, the leader explained. Meanwhile, at NASA, Dr. Rivera made a breakthrough. She found a way to track the Zorgon ships. "They leave a trail in space," she told the president. "Like a wake behind a boat. We can follow it to find their homeworld." The president looked at the star map she showed him. "How far away is it?" "Very far, but with the jump drive we can get there in weeks, not years," she said. "All over the world, humans work together like never before. Old enemies became friends. Countries shared their secrets. Everyone had the same goal: save the women and defeat the Zorgons." In Russia, scientists built powerful new weapons. In Japan, they created special spacesuits that made soldiers stronger. In Brazil, they trained pilots to fly the new ships. Everyone did their part. Admiral Kree watched Earth from his ship. He saw nothing unusual. Human technology was too simple for him to worry about. His officers told him the humans were building something, but he didn't believe they could make anything dangerous. "These humans are like all the others we have conquered," Admiral Kree said. "They make noise, they threaten, but in the end they accept their place." The officer looked worried. "Sir, our scouts report they are building ships." Admiral Kree laughed. "Ships? They can barely reach their own moon. By the time they build real spaceships, we will be done with their females and gone." But the Zorgons had made a big mistake. They had taken the people humans loved most. And humans would do anything, learn anything, build anything to get them back. 6 months passed. The Earth Defense Force had built a fleet of 100 ships. They were ready. Joe Clark was assigned to the ship called Revenge. Like all the ships, it was crewed by men and women from many countries, all working together. As they prepared to leave Earth, Joe looked out the window at his planet. He thought of Mary and made a promise to himself. "I'm coming for you," he whispered. "No matter where they've taken you." Joe moved through the halls of the mothership with other Earth soldiers. They fought Zorgon guards at every turn. The Earth weapons worked well against the Zorgons, who were not used to fighting on their own ships. "We need to find the pod rooms," Joe told his team. "That's where they keep the women." A soldier checked a small computer. "According to the ship plans we got from the message, the main pod room is 3 levels down." They found stairs and moved down. The sounds of fighting were everywhere. When they reached the pod level, they saw an amazing sight. Hundreds of women were already free. Some were fighting Zorgons with stolen weapons. Others were helping women who were still weak from the pods. Earth soldiers, someone shouted when they saw Joe's team. They're here. Joe looked at all the faces, searching for Mary. He didn't see her. Where are the women who first escaped? He asked. A woman named Mary Clark? She went after Admiral Cree. A woman told him. He's trying to escape in a small ship. Lower level, east side. Joe took 5 soldiers with him and ran to find Mary. He had to make sure she was safe. Mary, Kelly, and 10 other women were in a firefight with Zorgon guards outside the escape ship area. They were pinned down behind some metal containers. We can't let Cree get away, Mary said. He's the one who ordered our capture. Kelly fired at the guards. We're running out of ammo. We need a new plan. Suddenly, the guards were hit from behind. Joe and his team had arrived. The guards fell quickly. Mary, Joe called. Mary looked up, not believing her eyes. Joe? Is that really you? There was no time for a reunion. The door to the escape area opened, and Admiral Cree appeared with 4 guards. When he saw humans, he turned to run back inside. Stop. Him, Kelly shouted. She fired at the guards, taking down 2. The others fired back. Joe ran forward, dodging shots. He reached the door before it closed and forced it open. Inside, he saw Admiral Cree climbing into a small ship. Stop, Joe yelled. He fired at the ship's engines. Admiral Cree turned. For the first time, he looked scared. You can't defeat the Zorgon Empire, he said. We are the strongest power in the galaxy. Not anymore, Joe said. He fired again, hitting the fuel tanks of the small ship. The ship caught fire. Admiral Cree had no choice. He raised his hands. I surrender. Mary and the others arrived just in time to see Cree surrender. Mary walked up to the Admiral. You took us from our homes. You planned to kill us for your weapons. Now you will pay for what you did. Throughout the mothership, the fighting was ending. The Earth soldiers and freed women outnumbered the Zorgon guards. Many guards surrendered when they saw their admiral was caught. In the control room, Lisa was still working on the ship systems. She found a way to talk to all parts of the ship at once. Attention all Zorgon forces, she said. Your admiral is captured. Your shields are down. Your weapons are disabled. Surrender now or be destroyed. One by one, the Zorgon ships outside stopped fighting. The Earth fleet had won, but at a high cost. Only 40 Earth ships were still able to fly. Thousands of brave men and women had died in the battle. The captain of the Revenge came to the control room. We've won the space battle, he told Lisa. But we can't get home, our jump drives are burned out. Lisa smiled. I think I can help with that. The Zorgon ships have better jump drives than ours. And I've learned how to use them. Joe brought Admiral Cree to the control room under guard. Mary rushed to Joe and they hugged for the first time in months. I knew you would come, Mary said. I never gave up hope. Everyone on Earth worked together to find you, Joe said. We built a fleet in 6 months. We learned alien technology. We did the impossible. Admiral Cree watched with surprise. How did you defeat us? We are the strongest empire in the galaxy. You made a big mistake, Joe said. You thought taking our women would make us weak, but it made us stronger. Humans fight hardest when we fight for the people we love. The captain turned to Admiral Cree. Your empire will pay for what it did. We want all Earth women returned. We want payment for the damage you caused. And we want promises that you will never attack Earth again. Admiral Cree had no choice but to agree. His fleet was defeated. His empire would learn a hard lesson. Never make an enemy of humans. The Earth fleet prepared to go home. They took control of several Zorgon ships to carry everyone. The damaged Earth ships were left behind or used for parts. Lisa worked with Zorgon engineers who had surrendered. They fixed the jump drives and plotted a course for Earth. We can make it home in 3 jumps, she told the captain. Before they left, they sent a message to Earth. Victory. We have defeated the Zorgon Empire. All women rescued. Coming home. On the ship going back to Earth, Joe and Mary sat together looking at the stars. What will happen to the Zorgons now? Mary asked. Their empire will be weaker, Joe said. They will have to make peace with Earth and other planets they hurt. They learned not to underestimate humans. And what about Earth? Mary asked. Will things go back to normal? Joe shook his head. Earth will never be the same. We have spaceships now. We know there are other aliens out there. Some are enemies like the Zorgans. Some are friends like Zen's people. Earth will be part of the galaxy now. I'm a little scared of that, Mary said. Me too, Joe admitted. But humans are strong. We beat the biggest empire in the galaxy. We can handle what comes next. The ships made their first jump toward home. Earth would soon welcome back its missing women. There would be sadness for those who died in the fight, but also pride in what humans had done together. The strongest alien empire had captured Earth's women. They thought it would be easy. Instead, it led to their defeat. They learned what every enemy of Earth would learn in the future. Humans fight hardest when protecting the people they love. As the ships jumped through space toward home, the Zorgon Empire sent messages to other alien worlds. The message was simple. Do not attack Earth. They are stronger than they appear. We attacked them. We paid the price. Earth was no longer just a small blue planet in a quiet part of space. Earth was now known across the galaxy. Earth was respected. Earth was feared. And Admiral Kree, once the proud leader of the strongest empire in the galaxy, sat in a locked room, wondering how he had been so wrong about humans. He had thought they were weak. Instead, they had shown him what real strength was.